If you thought you'd seen all of the weird and wild folding electric bikes out there, then think again, because we've got one more for you. Hey everyone, Micah here with Electrek, and today we're reviewing the EUYBike K6 Pro. This is another weird folding electric bike, but it's got some innovation and some redeeming qualities, so come along with us while we check it out. There's some weirdness going on here for sure, but let's start off by framing the bike and checking out its specs. In many ways, this bike should feel familiar since it carries over much of the same fat tire folding bike themes we've seen elsewhere. We've got our rear hub motor and back, rated for 1000 watts and 96 newton meters, and that also gives us our class 3 speeds of up to 28 miles an hour or 45 kilometers per hour. Then we've got our 20-inch fat tires for a combination of on and off-road riding. We've got an 8-speed transmission, cool, I guess, but from here, things start to take a departure from the norm. For example, the hidden yet removable battery in the center of the frame is a massive 25 amp hours, giving us 1200 watt hours of capacity. As usual, there's a sky-high range rating from the company, in this case, a claim of up to 80 miles or 130 kilometers. But let's get real, folks. 30 to 40 miles of throttle-only range is more likely when you're riding hard, like most of us prefer to. If you do stick to pedal assist level 1, then maybe you'll get close to that claimed range, but even so, that 1200 watt hour battery is nearly twice the size of most folding fat tire e-bike batteries, and so you're still getting around twice the range of most budget e-bikes. If you ask me though, all of that is an appetizer. That's not what we're really here for. Now the lead to this video was that this was a weird folding electric bike. I'm not going to keep you waiting anymore. Let's see how this thing folds in half. Now the first step is you come down below the frame here and there's a screw knob here. So you have to unscrew this thing, and I guess you better hope it doesn't come unscrewed while you're riding. It seems fairly sturdy. Once you unscrew that thing about 6 or 7 turns, it unlocks this joint here, and then you can pick the bike up and fold it right in the middle like that. Try not to trap yourself in the middle like I seem to have done here. Oh, come on. There we go. All right, I think we're basically folded. Yeah, so I don't know, guys. This is a weird folding frame. It's kind of unwieldy. I'm not sure this gets you a whole lot of extra advantage here. Maybe you can fit it better in a trunk this way, but I don't know. This is not my favorite folding mechanism I've ever seen. All right, let's get this back into safe riding mode here. See, theoretically, I just tighten this thing back up. There we go. I can feel it locking into place. All right, and theoretically, we're back to a rigid bike. Yeah, feels pretty rigid to me. Okay, so that's how it folds. It seems to work, like it functions, but the whole screw knob thing just doesn't give me a huge amount of confidence. Most e-bikes use a tried and true folding mechanism for a reason, and so reinventing the wheel here, so to speak, it does seem a bit unnecessary. Though I will say that it does give us a fairly cool new design. Like, look at the frame, it looks interesting. If you don't want a boring folding e-bike that looks like every other folding e-bike, then EYU can scratch that itch of yours. And it's fun to see new designs. I love it. I love seeing innovation and watching companies think outside the box instead of simply ordering from within the catalog of existing e-bike frames and components. And you also end up with some nice features here too. Full suspension? I don't hate that. I mean, the rear shock isn't very good. It's a basic cheap little spring shock, but it'll do the job for recreational riding and light off-roading like on fairly smooth grass or fairly manicured trails. Don't expect it to turn a pothole into a cloud, but that's also what having those big fat tires is for, adding extra cushion. And that big winged saddle is also going to help pad your rear end and spread that force out, so they seem to be pulling out all the stops when it comes to trying to make this into a comfortable ride. Up front, the suspension is kind of more the same. It's fine, acceptable, not fancy or expensive, but pretty much fine. And rounding out the feature list, we have some other nice-to-haves, such as an 8-speed shifter, hydraulic disc brakes, though the 160mm brake rotors are a bit small, a rear rack, which is something we often don't see on full suspension bikes, fenders, which again is actually something we also don't often see on full suspension bikes, and even a big ol' moto-style headlight. We do have a taillight also, but it's just the coin cell battery style one under the saddle. Nice to see something instead of nothing, but I'd rather have a taillight that runs off the main battery like the headlight, especially when you've got 1200 watt hours of battery at your disposal. And that sort of sums up the bike for me. There's a lot of stuff here that I like. It's fast, comfortable, easy to ride, comes with some nice features, and there are some key wins here. But I'm not sure that the funky folding mechanism actually adds that much value to the bike, and perhaps it's just helping pad that $1,900 price to a point that's higher than it needs to be. Sure, a 1000 watt motor and 1200 watt hour battery definitely contribute to the price as well, but I feel like if they just went with a funky looking moped style frame instead of a funky folder, we could have saved some cost along the way. So for those that really like this design, I can see this being a good bike for you, but if you don't need that folding feature, I'd probably pass over it for a bike that offers more of what you desire and without the stuff you don't really need. Thanks for watching, everyone. We hope you enjoyed that review of the EUYBike K6 Pro. If you did, why don't you give this video a thumbs up? And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any of our future electric vehicle videos. We'll see you here next time.